especially mainly in this process, they can involve the different types of the microorganisms. Okay, and participate in the different types of the microorganisms also participate in the mainly form the menu. The main important one of the importance of the menu is that the menu also they can increasing of the fertility of the soil and still that increasing of the crop productivity also is very important. Okay, this is one trend of the ecological succession. Main ecological succession finally the layers the mature soil formation, the final community, mature soil community. And next one, the the height, massiveness of differentiation, the strata of the community increases, they can increasing of the plant height also one of the aspect, one of the aspect. Okay, the height in the muscles in the differentiation part of the from plant community increases. Next one is the rate of organic matter formation per unit area in the community increases with the increased development of the soil and the community structure. At the same time, they can develop the soil community and the soil uh, structure is also the one of the trend of the ecological succession. The next one is the as a density of the above ground as a density of the the density of the above ground plants, increase of the microclimate within the community, the increasing by the characteristics of the community itself. The next one, species diversity also increasing of the species diversity. Species diversity is also one of the aspects in, in ecological succession. But different types of the species also have the species diversity. Diversity means variation. Okay, species diversity increases from the simple communities to early succession, the richer communities, the late succession, the primary succession, the final succession. Okay, and next one is the intraspecific. In some of the in the population of the final stage rise to and all of and replace one of the under the time gradient with the interspecific or intraspecific competition of the space and nutrients. Intraspecific and intraspecific and the interspecific of the communities also composition of the space and nutrients also they can see the one of the aspect. Next one, the rate of this replacement slows through the course of the success is the smaller and the short-lived poignant species are replaced by the larger and the larger-lived ones. For example, in the forest ecosystem, mainly the what are the pioneer stage, the most of the phytoplankton, and next one is the shrubs and these are the shrubs and the ants are the the destroyed by finally they can form the forest ecosystem. Okay, especially short-lived pioneer species are replaced by the larger and the longer-lived one. What are the longer-lived ones? Especially some of the trees. The trees also participate in the mainly the trees are the finally found the zone of the trend of the ecological succession. This one is the final community, especially relative stability of the communities increase, and the final community which includes the stable is called the climax. Already we discussed the climax. Climax is the stable product. The climax is the stable product. Climax is the stable products. Okay, these are the different types of the trends of the ecological succession. Okay, next one is the kinds of the ecological succession, and next one is the ecological succession may be followed in two types. There are two main types of the ecological succession. One is the primary succession, The second one is the secondary succession. What is the meaning of the primary succession? It is the process of creating life in area where no life extended earlier. Mainly, happens when a new patch of land is created and exposed for the first time. First time. As well as the pioneer community, primary succession. Now, mainly primary succession also, some of the examples and an example and an area in which a community has never lived before would have been new lava or the rock formed volcano that makes the new Iceland. The primary succession, especially, is at the begins with the place without any soil, like the sites of the volcanoes, landslides, flooding. Mainly the start with the arrival of living things such as the lichens that do not need any soil to survive. They are called as the pioneer species. What are the pioneers? Pioneer is the first species in the ecological succession. One of the example is the pioneer succession. Pioneer succession, typically they can start with the lichens. Okay, pioneer community. The first group of the organisms which become the established in such areas termed as the pioneer community. The what are the pioneer community? Lichens is the pioneer community. Mainly the lichens start with the arrival of living things such as the lichens that do not need any soil to survive. The pioneer species, the primary succession. What are the pioneer species? Some of the diagram is the pioneer species. Some are only some of the stops, especially the most of the these are the small shops. Okay, some of the like you can see this one is the small diagram like this. The most especially the rocks, the pioneer species, primary success already discussed the when lichens die, they decompose, adding small amounts of the organic matter, the rock of to the vacant soil. Simple plants like the mosses and the ferns can grow on this new soil. These are the ferns. Most of these are the ferns. Okay, these are the mosses. Okay, especially in the primary success also mainly they can form the mosses and some of the ferns. These are the ferns. These are the mosses. Okay, next one. The different types of the simple forms also we can form primary success. Next one is the primary success. The simple plants by adding of the more organic material, the soil layer thickness, and the grasses and the other plant begin to take over the primary succession. Mainly these are the plants diet and they more nutrients to the soil, especially to form the different types of the soil. Shrubs and trees are they can survive now on the soil. Shrubs mainly shrubs and the for example, these are the some of the in the primary succession insects, small birds, and mammals can now begin to come. Um, Earlier only bare rock, now the support the various life form, especially uh, in geosphere. In geosphere, start with the rocks, especially rocks rock in rocks. In the rocks of the rocks mainly they can form the primary succession. The lichens they can start with the geosphere, lichen. These are the diagram of the primary succession. These are the primary succession. First one is the small shrubs, herbs, next one trees. The especially the finally in climax stage, the gradually uh, uh, species also gradually decreasing. Like finally, for the number of plants is the woodland stage. The climax commit stage, the woodland stage, mainly the found woodland stage. Primary, uh, some of the especially soil, different types of finally the long trees, especially primary. There are also primary substrate, the beach, especially from some of the grasses, shrub community, pine, next to oak forest, the beach of the hill, especially finally found with the gradient of the species also decrease. At the same time, the big size of the plants also become found to the climax stage. You must okay. Next one is the secondary climax, secondary succession. What is the meaning of the secondary succession? Is this the process of restabilization that follows the secondary succession is the process of restabilization that follows disturbance of in an area where the life has formed an ecosystem. Mainly the which community development preceding an area from which community was the removed and where nutrients and condition for existence is already favorable. Cut over the forest in the abundant cropland, flood the field, the term secondary succession, secondary succession. Especially in primary succession, they can form the different types of the shrubs and the shrubs and herbs and mainly replaced by another species. Okay, in the primary succession, mainly they can form in primary succession, there is no species of the previously. In secondary succession, the primary succession form the different types of the shrubs and herbs. These are the shrubs and herbs of the cutting and the remove from the can form the of the species. Okay, depending upon the predominancy, green plants and the heterotrophic organisms in the initial serial stage of succession, distinguish in the autotrophic succession and the heterotrophic succession. Two types of succession. The first one is the autotrophic. What is the meaning of the autotrophic succession? It is the widespread in the nature and begins the predominantly inorganic environment. Mainly the predominantly inorganic environment. Mainly that begins with the predominant inorganic environment. This characterized by clearly and continued dominancy by the autotrophic organisms. Autotrophic organisms, especially the green plants, some of the bacteria. Okay, the green plants, some of that. Main important is the green plants are produce the one food material. Main autotrophic succession is the widespread in nature and begins in a predominantly inorganic environment predominantly in an inorganic environment. It is also characterized by the early continued dominance autotrophic organisms. What are the autotrophic organisms? Some of the plants and some of the bacteria also start with the autotrophic substrates. It's on heterotrophic. It is characterized by the early dominance heterotrophic such as the fungi, some of the animals, some of the bacteria. Okay, mainly the occurs the predominantly organic environment, especially in autotrophic succession is the inorganic environment. Mm, autotrophic succession is the main section start with the inorganic environment, and next in heterotrophic succession also forms the organic environment. Organic environment, especially some of the polluted with the sewage, fallen rock, small receiving of the leaf litter, heavy quantity, energy is the maximum being the and decline succession of unless additional the organic factor. The important part is the autotrophic community. Autotrophic community. These are the secondary succession, autotrophic and mainly secondary succession is the ecological succession. Is the occurs and the surface where the ecosystem has the previously existed. It is the process by which one community replaced by the other community that is the partially, totally destroyed, partially or totally destroyed might be the natural process such as the flood, earthquakes, and etc. The primary succession diagram is one of the primary. So mostly they are found some of the shrubs in there. Okay. Second succession mainly and the existing community has been cleared by the any type of the disturbances such as the fire, cyclone, and the soil remains instead and the area is the natural because of that habitat previously supported life second substation. The cycle life in second substation. First one is the shrubs. Okay, shrubs and small trees. Actually, disturbance of the process to shrubs to small trees. The climax forest community and disturbance by from the process, the cyclic process. Well, where does the ecological succession occur? Because the process life for the plants and other living organisms because organisms are on soil structure. The species communities are constantly change over the period of time. Succession will be continued until the environment reaches the final stage of called the climax. That is the final stage of the climax community gradually changes from the final stage of to the climax community. Say first one is the bare rocks, next one they can start with the lichens, lichens to next one is the mosses. Mosses are replaced by the from the herbs and beds. Next one herbs are replaced to form to the grasses, grasses to shrubs, shrubs to next one is the pines. Okay, and the finally from trees, and next one is the some of the trees, tall polar beaches. So the gradually change from finals to the climax community. Ecological succession takes place, means succession we continue the until the the final stage of the climax community. The climax community. What are the climax? Already we discussed the climax community. The mature and the stable community, the final stage of ecological succession. This type of the community remains the some someday through out of the time, not the distributed. There is an stable group of the plants and the animals, which is the end results of the succession process. Does not always mean only big trees. They could be some of the cacti, grasses, the really cacti is the third condition. They get the trees in the third condition. That's the fields. The climate is different types of the climate. What are the physical factors also that can affect of the situation in the temperature, the mainly physical process. Okay. Already, what are the process of the succession? Already we discussed the types of the succession. What type of the process of the succession? Mainly, the population of the final species should be small in size so that the nutrients requirement requirement is the very low condition, and it should be able to the survive on low nutrient level. It should be able to survive on low nutrient level. It should be have the capacity to bring nutrients in solution to be the absorbed later on the later on that means the rate of increasing of number and growth should be low and possibly. It should be more dynamic to face with the interspecific and the intraspecific competition. These are the one all of the succession. The process mainly these are the pioneer community generally is for the short term of time, the comparison with the small, some of the later succession stages. Mainly to meet the requirements of food and the for shelter, the organisms react and the environment and the modify. Some of the changes in the environment lead to increased tension and the gradual inability to the final species to cope with the altered condition. As the situation continues, other species infiltrate the area because the environment becomes more suitable for their existence. By the depth and the decay of the final species, the organic matter, moisture, and the nitrogen content increase in the considerably the soil. Uh, these are the enriched the soil is more suitable for the growth of secondary communities, which become the established when the final species gradually disappears. Each secondary community replacement the seeded stage, each seeded stage appears, flourish, and the finally disappears the environment changes. Actually, serial community, each serial stage of the particular community is also called as the serial community. Already discussed in uh, different types of the first one is the climax community, the first ecosystem. They construct the phytoplankton, shrubs, we have trees and the woody plant. Okay, each one is the one serial stage. The climax communities also mainly the climax community has become the established. It tends to remain the position of the area because it does not change the environment. So, as to the ensure itself or the favor of the growth of different dominant species, and the because if the members can resist the composition of the organism and kind from the outside. Okay, the process of succession, the mainly form, the process of succession of the different types of the aspects of the. Next one is what are the concept of the climax? Already climax is the end stage. Succession proceeds until stable type in plants or forest community occupies an area the dominated by the few long-lived plant species is an a balance with the environmental changes. This type of the dynamic and stable model succession indicates the balance of the nature. The large terrestrial community become green plant the climax vegetation of the successive changes in the finally concept about the change mosaic vegetation. The climax vegetation is the neat results of the order is the predictably sequencing changes. Climax community is also referred as a mature community. Next one is the community that ends with the stabilized flora and fauna after the succession is known as the climax community. Mainly the total farm the flora and fauna. Flora is related to the plants and the fauna is related to the animals. Okay. The species of the population, the climax community is stable. There must be balance in the nature and nature and sorry, mortality and the mortality between income, new individuals, production by and death. But at the same time, the concept of the climax can be understood best taking the food along the stream, as an example, water flows through the pore, but with the equal rates of the inflow flow and outflow, the full step itself is and system stays same. Study state the similarity climax, you see the condition of the natural company. The other main concept of the climax. Next one is the theories of succession. Actually, series of succession, primary success, monoclimax theory, polyclimax theory, different types of the series of the succession. The theories, especially two types of the theories already we discussed in ecological succession, monoclimax theory and polyclimax theory. Monoclimax theory is proposed by the Clements in the 1916. Clements is the American ecologist. According to theory, is the only one climax community is given a climatic or geological region. According to theory, also only one climax community in a given climatic or geographical region. These are the some of the topographic irregularities, various social soil types within the climate zone. There are the other communities also in that zone is the adjacent to climax community. The communities are known as the subordinate communities. The terms such as the pro-climax, post-climax, dis-climax, pre-climax, sub-climax are used in the different types of the communities. What is the meaning of the pro-climax? Pro means especially that the community is the more or less on the pro on the first order of the climax. Many of the community is the more or less stable, resembling the climax community in some respects. Mainly is distributed by the man and other animals is the called is the disclimax community. Mainly distributed the disclimax community. Grassland in the forest area. when the development is sub-final stage of succession with the repeated burning and cutting, grazing, and the flooding of stage termed as the subclimax, the pre-climax community. Sometimes it's the strict vegetation of higher life forms found within the climax forest with long stream in grassland. The higher type of the vegetation is called the post climax community. The main theme is the only one climax community in a given climatic or geographical region. The proposed by the Clements in 1960, the American scientist, the monoclimax theory. Next one is the polyclimax theory. Is also developed the polyclimax number of factors, especially developed by the Nicholas Champion board. Taker also, according to theory, number of different climax communities may be present in a climatic or geographical region. Okay, these are the pre-climax, post-climax, climax, different types of the climax are participating in the polyclimax theory. Next one is the climax pattern theory, is also developed by the Whittaker and Swedish in the Meconish different uh, different scientists also participating in the proposed climax pattern theory. According to theory, composition and the other characters of the climax communities are determined by the total environment of the ecosystem and not by the single factor, mainly the multiple factors also participate in the climax pattern. Mainly, these are climax community may be represented by the pattern of animal communities which have the close interrelationship with the flora and fauna of the area, the soil and the climate. A particular plant cannot thrive unless it is the seeds are the properly distributed, or the certain animal cannot lay food plants that are not among the most of the popular animals that the plants of the climax community, the community which excels the climate, the area concerned. Among the ecological series also of the popular. These are the climax communities are proposed by the three theories, monoclimax theory, polyclimax theory, next one is the climax pattern theory also the three theories. Uh, ecological succession also the pattern of the succession, what are the patterns of the succession? Mainly depend upon the types of the habitat and the varying amount of the moisture after xerosphere, hydrosphere. Okay, the succession of the variously designed. The chief patterns of the hydrosphere mainly the development pattern of the hydra in the water. Xerosphere of the xerox in the dry condition. The mesosphere is the intermediate type of the adequate moisture. The pattern of succession, xerosphere, hydrosphere, mesosphere, different types of. The first one start with the xerosphere. Uh, xerosphere. Okay, at the same time, the pattern of succession. Next one is the climax community. Already discussed the climax community. What are the some of the physical factors also affected by the succession, mainly temperature and next amount of the rainfall. What are the threats in the succession? The grasses that move to the final species where often some of the weeds, get the subsequent growth of the shrubs of the considered branches. The without these the intermediate stage of distributed habitat can threaten the forest. These are the ecological succession. Next one, zeros here. The pattern of succession is the three types. The pattern of succession also three types zeros here. And next one is the hydrosphere, and next one is the mesosphere. Zerosphere is one of the best examples of zerosphere subsequence. Mainly start with the bare rock, wind blown sand, rocky slopes, and any such place where there is the extreme deficiency of water, the various stage of zero here, mainly uh, availability of the water is the very less, extremely extreme deficiency of water in zero here. You can see the extreme deficiency of the water zero here. Next one, the various stages from zeros here, lichen stage. Mainly, the lichen stage are the great exposure to sun and extreme deficiency of water. The first pioneer of the on the bare rocks are few simple organisms. The most of the successful such of the organisms are the crustose lichens. One of the pioneer stage of the zeros here is the crustose lichens. Crustose lichens are the pioneer stage of the xenosphere. The crustose lichen is the final stage of the xenosphere. First one, lichen stage. Different types of the stage also they can find in xenosphere. Lichen stage, mass stages. Next one, herbaceous stages, stub stages, in the climax for us. The first one is the lichen stage, especially they can start with the bare rocks. The bare rocks are also few simple organisms. The most successful such of the organisms also crustose lichen. Some of the examples of the mainly uh, rainy season of the absorb the large quantity of the water and the flourish rapidly. Migration of the distant rocks takes place to the either the force or the surya by the wind. The common species of the control like rhizocarp, when it is the long and slow of the process of the designation, degradation, rock particle concentrate, organic matter lichen accumulate the provide the condition for the growth of the higher forms of the lichen. This also becomes the acid produced by the lichen. In the especially in lichen stage also mainly they can produce mainly the rocks are they not decomposed by the rock, especially some lichens also they can produce some of the acids because the acids of the rocks are decomposed and rocks are essentially um, penetrate into some of the organisms, penetrate some of the organisms. Little soil is the formed by the activity of the frustose lichens. Higher forms of the lichens, such as the foliage lichen, some of the rock particles and the dead organic matter of lichen accumulate provide the condition possible of the higher forms of the lichen that becomes the acid produced by lichen. Example is the dermatocarbon, farm nail, different types of the lichens. The lichens are associated with the lichens few mites make up the ability. Along with them, a few spiders and ants also appearance of the facts and the service of the lichens. Mainly in crustose lichens, especially lichen stage, especially bare rocks are formed. The bare rocks are the final stage, especially lichen. Okay, next one is the mass stage, especially bryophytes. What are the mass stage? Bryophytes are most of some of the bryophytes. Most of these are there is no visible to the lichens, and next one is the masses. The small minute levels are shown in some of the these are the herbs. Okay. The next one is the mass stage. The accumulation of the dust and the humus in small quantities, the environment gets the alteration to allow the establishment of the secondary communities in the where the definitive sequence, the scattered patches of the mass invite the environment. Uh, so so far being dominated by the like later on masses like the sphagnum, Pineria, polytrichum, maybe occur in most of the masses to uh, lichen stage, mossel stage, the herbaceous stage. These are the most of the as the mass of the mosses become the more extensive, resulting in the more soil accumulate. So the soil grown from the surrounding areas during the windy period. More mineral materials are added to the soils, acid leach out from the overlying vegetation and increasing of the depth of the mineral soil layer. Mainly, Many annual weeds develop in which are the later formed by the biennial and perennial grasses, Andropogon, Paniclata, and the broom grass, the common in the broom beds, a dominant grass in many areas we can put the basic stages. For example, with the influx of the grasses, the fun of animals also become very nematode, insects, the Columbia and might appear gradually under the in-ground. Then this stage, which one is the sub stage, the further modification environment provides a suitable condition for the germination of the growth of the shrubs, the within plants such as the acacia, Prosopis, Digipes, mainly the thorn trees also they can grow in the shrub stages. Okay, the next one is the climax community with the establishment of the shrubs and the more. Okay, climax for funds with the establishment of the shrubs and more soil is formed to the environment of the increasing uh, of growth food trees, the beginning started. The finally climax forest community is established and the number of terrestrial vertebrate make the appearance the climax complete. The last aggregation of vegetation is the climax condition is not in the catastrophic the community. The maintain indefinitely the climax is mainly in zeros here they can start with the lichen stages, mossel stages, surface stages, sub stages, climax stage. The climax is the finally formed the some of the trees. Okay. Next one is the hydrosphere. Already in xenosphere is the deficiency of the water, lack of the water. They can grow in the number of plants. Finally, the forest ecosystem, climax community, they can form different types of shrubs, especially shrubs, acacia, jujubas. Okay. Next one is the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is the hydra succession starts in the water. Especially will bond can takes of the most suitable example hydrosphere succession, the various stages of the hydrosphere enumerated follows. Submerged stage, submerged stage, initial stages, water is food. What are the different types of submerged stages, floating stages, red swamp stages, marsh meadow stages, woodland stages. Okay, the different types of the stages also in the hydrosphere. Submerged stage is the initial stage, water is food in nutrients and divided of life. The pioneers in the aquatic habitat plankton, the phytoplankton grow floating or the suspended in water and the multitude. With the depth of the phytoplankton, zooplankton, the stubs also stub enriched in the organic matter. The matter becomes the rich organic mineral substrate certain the rooted submerged hydrophytes like the appearance of the Ceratophyllum, photo, photometra, the valves area, petricularia, by the depth of the decay of these plants, there are the further media with the increase of the nutrients. especially example is the ceratophyllum, especially subnative stages, ceratophyllum, smallest area, photomegata, and the area also is all from the submerged stage. Next one, the floating stages. When there's the water level is the pond remains 6 to 8 feet depth in the floating plants begin to appear in the plants including the nymphaea, Trophia, Monocara, and these are the roots. The roots are rooted in the mud. There, the roots really floating in the surface of the latter, free floating of the plants like lemna, ajolla, piagro, fresh water. And next one is the fruiting stage, red swamp stage, especially red swamp stage are the body becomes especially silting of the removal of the water transpiration and prevent Atifa, Taifa, Rumex, and the Tajik area is all belongs to the red swamp stage. Okay. Next one is the March mid stage. That the free water is the change in the swampy land water plants give the swampy plants such as the spreads, rashes, and a succession continues marginally but become dry for the swampy plant. That the subsequently replaced by the herbs and the shrubs. Next one is the woodland stage. The woodland stage, especially in hydrosphere, in woodland stage, hydrosphere is also the some of the vegetation is undergoing the profound changes in the hydraulic succession as the animal life community correspondingly at the fish, waves, the mushrooms gradually export the land vertebrates also their appearance. There are the changes in animal life during the hydrosphere. So green algae too, they can start with the plant forest. Okay. In hydrosphere also, they can start with the green algae. Green algae too, they can finally come to the plants parks. The climax stage the park during the hydrosphere. Green algae too in the forest. Next one, protozoan too. Next one is the they can mainly the some of the micropterus leptons. Next one later Daphnia, especially cyclops in the cypress, and next one some these are the changes in animal life during the hydrosphere. And next one is the mesosphere. Mesosphere also we discussed the it is an the intermediate type of the moisture present the adequate amounts. The successional series such as much shorter becomes the moisture condition. And next one is the um, uh, more ideal and there's the initial water problem that must be resolved in zero and the hydron type of the substation are nano extent. The condition is the hydron and the zero communities also reveal of the ma, ma, mesoarc series giving the land of type of the subsequent trend. Next is the biotic succession. What are the biotic succession? Is also climax community, biotic succession. The end product of the succession after the serial community is the climax community, and it is the relatively stable community. Generally believed the once climax is attained to the community does not change stable, but it's the exactly the climax communities may be also some of the aging, strong disease, and other biotic abiotic factors. The concept of the climax community is developed by the Anson Churchill in 1961. What are the climax community? Biotic succession. The climax community is the steady stage regarding to the climax community is the state regarding the probability structure and the population. There is the diversity and stability of homogeneous species population within the between and stand of the same climax community. Each stand self-maintaining and the long persistent and replacement and the fluctuation changes are the operative and continuous base within the climax while the environmental factors determine its What are the signification of the ecological succession? Mainly that the mature community with the greater diversity, longer organic structure, and balanced energy flow is often able to the buffer physiological environment that the younger community often is the more productivity is the from the evolutionary point of view of the primary success, primary function of the ecological success, achievement of stability and the increasing of the productivity. Main important is the increasing of the productivity. Next one is uh, the greater importance, especially ecological succession, the greater importance. Early successional stages, so food synthesis, it requires a large net of the primary production, especially prime productivity. It plays an important role in the slow dispersal of animals. Is one of the succession of the species, the ecological succession. Next one is the ecological pyramids. Ecological pyramids, the term coined by the Charles Shelton. Okay, ecological pyramids. The term is ecological pyramids developed by the Charles Shelton in 1927. Ecological pyramids are the graphical representation of the trophic structure and ecosystem. The trophic levels are the filling position in the food chain, such as the primary producer, herbivores in the primary carnivores. They can start with the ecological pyramid. The first one is they can occupy the producer. Next one is the primary consumer, secondary consumers. The next one is the finally they can occupy the decomposer. Decom Decomposer. Next one is the types of the ecological pyramids are also the three types: pyramids of number, pyramids of biomass, pyramid of energy. Okay. Next one is the pyramids of numbers. Mostly it is the graphical representation. The diagram is the pyramid of number. They can and the bottom of the occupied by the producers. Next one is the primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Most of the ecological pyramids of the upright is the graphical ecological pyramids, pyramid of numbers. Actually, most of the upright conditions, some of the especially tree ecosystem or forest ecosystem, these are the inverted conditions. Most of the ecological pyramids are the upright conditions. For example, grassland ecosystem, pond ecosystem, these are a large number of producers tend from the base, and this is the lower number of carnivores occupied to the top. Okay, next one. Pyramids of number. Most of the upright condition only tree ecosystem is the inverted condition. Tree are the forest ecosystem. Next one, pyramids of number. The shape of the pyramid number of the vary from the ecosystem. The pyramid of number, the aquatic ecosystem. The aquatic ecosystem and land ecosystem, most of the upright condition. A lesser number of herbivores, it is determined the few carnivores. Okay. These are the inverted ecosystem, especially parasitic food chain, the forest ecosystem, forest in the, these are the inverted condition. Most of the upright conditions, ecological conditions. Only there are some of the inverted conditions you can see in the parasite food chain. The pyramid of biomass. The pyramid of biomass is the graph representation of the biomass as per the unit area, different topic, topic level. The biomass is calculated by the mass and each individual number of individuals to each tropical level. Next one, inverted pyramids of the biomass. Some of the inverted pyramids of the biomass, especially pond ecosystem. Pond ecosystem. The most of the ecological pyramids of the upright condition, pyramid of biomass, terrestrial ecosystem. Only inverted condition aquatic ecosystem. The aquatic ecosystem. The aquatic habitat is the pyramid of biomass inverted at the spindle shape. But the biomass of the tropical level depends upon the reproductive potential at the longer time pyramids. Okay. The pyramid of energy. Most in the pyramid of energy, most of the all are the applied conditions. There is no inverted condition. Only they can say the biomass of pyramids and next is the number of pyramids also some of the inverted conditions. Most of the pyramid of energy all are the applied conditions. Pyramid of energy. This is the graphical representation the flow of the energy through the each graphical level of food chain over is the fixed time period. And is also known as the period of productivity. The availability of energy is the highest producer levels. Only 10% of the energy available. The next tropical level, the pyramid of energy slows the right. It shows the feeding different organisms in the different ecosystem. It shows the efficiency of energy transfer. The condition of the ecosystem can be monitored the damage. Ecological pyramids, limitation of the ecological pyramids also. More than one species may occupy the multiple tropical levels, and in case of the food web, the system does not take into the account of food webs. The sporophytes are not considered and any of the pyramids, even though the from important part of various ecological pyramids. More than one, what are the limitation of the ecological pyramids? More than one species. What are the importance is that the clear and the ecological pyramids that give information about the trophic structure and the tropical provide the framework and the study of the ecosystem existing ecological pyramids. Okay, actually energy levels, the energy also they can transform to one level to another level. Energy also only they can transform to only 1% of the energy they can transform one tropical level to another tropical level. Okay, the main 1925 logical pyramids, which are the term coined by the Charles Hilton. This is the ecological pyramid. Today topics is the only the ecological succession, types of the succession, ecological succession, primary, secondary succession, success theories, and next one, what are the importance of the succession? Next one, ecological pyramid, what are the main advantages of the Ecological pyramids, the more creative and the organic size is taken into the account. For example, bar representing tree will be the larger is the more mass primary consumers. Overcomes problem of the pyramids of the number. What are the disadvantages of the ecological pyramid? Biomass data is difficult to obtain of the organism. Needs to be killed the heated and the remove any water until the constant drain the obtained. The only uses of the sample from the population important. Next one, every biomass measured the effect of the results. The shape of the pyramid depend on the season. This is the ecological pyramid. Thank you. The class is over.